Jonathan Cain sat at the dinner table with his wife, Emma, and their teenage daughter, Lily. Their laughter filled the air as they shared stories from their day. After years of chasing a serial killer who left trails of horror in his wake, nights like this were Jonathan's sanctuary. For a moment, he could forget the dark world he fought against daily. A sharp knock at the door shattered the peace. Jonathan, ever the protector, approached cautiously, his hand instinctively resting on the pistol holstered under his jacket. When he opened the door, darkness consumed him. An invisible force hurled him across the room, slamming him into the wall like a rag doll with bone-cracking force. 4 figures made of shadow and malice entered the home, their glowing red eyes like coals from the pits of hell. They moved with terrifying speed. Jonathan struggled to rise, but his battered body refused to obey. Helpless, he watched in horror as the creatures slaughtered his family, their screams piercing his soul. One of the monsters turned to him, its eyes glowing brighter as if mocking him. It slashed his chest with talon-like fingers, leaving him to bleed out on the floor before vanishing into the night. Hours later, as Jonathan clung to life, he heard shuffling footsteps. A homeless man he often passed near his office, an older man with a grizzled beard and weathered clothes, entered his wrecked home. "Jonathan Cain," the man said in a low, gravelly voice. "I always knew it would come to this." Jonathan groaned, his voice weak. "Help, my family." The man knelt beside him. "I can't bring them back, but I can give you the power to avenge them. You've been marked by Nightwalkers, creatures of the dark. They won't stop until you're dead, but there's a way, if you're willing to pay the price." "What are you talking about?" Jonathan whispered, his vision blurring. "You'll have to become one of them to destroy them." The man pulled a knife from his coat and nicked his wrist, dark red blood dripping. "Drink, and you'll survive this night. Refuse, and you'll die here. But know this, once you drink, there's no turning back." Jonathan hesitated, staring at the crimson liquid. But the faces of his wife and daughter flashed in his mind. With a trembling hand, he grasped the man's wrist and drank. Pain exploded through his body as his wounds began to close. His blood burned, his heart pounded like a drum, and his vision sharpened to an unnatural clarity. When he opened his eyes, they glowed red. "What? What have you done to me?" he growled, his voice deeper, more primal. The homeless man smirked. "You're a Nightwalker now, but not like them. You'll hunt them, kill them. Silver bullets to the head. Remember that." Jonathan stumbled outside, lighting a torch. Tears streamed down his face as he set fire to his home, now a grave for his family. He stood in silence as the flames consumed everything he loved. Then he walked away, into the night, seeking solitude in an abandoned subway. Over the next few months, Jonathan transformed himself. He scavenged silver, melted it down, and crafted bullets and weapons. He trained relentlessly, his newfound strength and speed pushing him beyond human limits. Each day brought him closer to vengeance. His first target was a Nightwalker hiding in a decrepit mansion. Jonathan fought savagely, breaking the creature's arms before putting a silver bullet through its skull. The second one lurked in an old warehouse. Their battle was brutal, leaving Jonathan wounded. But with a pair of silver scissors, he stabbed the monster through the ear, ending its life. The third Nightwalker, an arrogant killer, drove a black sports car. Jonathan rigged it with explosives. When the explosion sent the monster screaming into the street, Jonathan waited with a silver-tipped crossbow. One shot, and it was over. The fourth Nightwalker was different, stronger, faster, more cunning. Their fight dragged into the early hours of the morning. The creature taunted Jonathan, mocking his loss and his transformation. "You're just like us now, Cain," it sneered, slamming him into a wall. "A monster pretending to be a man." Jonathan, bloodied and exhausted, fell to his knees. His enemy loomed over him, ready to deliver the final blow. But then he thought of Emma and Lily, their smiles, their laughter. Rage ignited within him, a fire hotter than anything he'd ever felt. His body convulsed as he transformed into something more, a supreme Nightwalker, a being of immense power. Not knowing that the homeless man's blood was from a royal family of Nightwalkers, the bloodline of Dracula. Yes, Dracula's blood ran through Jonathan's veins. With a roar, he lunged at the monster, gripping its throat. His strength was overwhelming. With one savage motion, he tore its head from its body, tossing it aside like garbage. Days later, Jonathan stood before the ashes of his home. His glowing red eyes dimmed as he whispered a vow. "I'll hunt them all, every last one, until there's no more of you left." He turned and vanished into the night, a shadow among shadows, a predator stalking predators. The hunt had only just begun. The end. If you would like to hear more amazing stories, be sure to subscribe, like, share, and hit that notification button.